Welcome to Cascade Cookie Class! We're making M&M cookies today. I'm Tiffany, and you may know me as Welly's mom, or Mama Kitchen, or the lady that served you a bunch of burritos one time at fall camp. Today we're making M&M cookies. You should already have all of your ingredients in front of you, but let's go through what's in the kit. So you should have half a cup of brown sugar, a quarter cup of white sugar, half a stick of butter, or non-dairy butter equivalent, brought to room temperature, a cup and a quarter of flour, half a teaspoon each of salt and baking soda, 3/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla, an egg, and I believe you have 2 packages of M&Ms. You got to keep M&Ms covered in this house because they tend to evaporate. Above and beyond all of those ingredients, you're going to need a cookie sheet, a cookie scoop. I use a cookie scoop, but you can use a big spoon. That works too. And a mixer. I use a standing mixer, but a hand mixer just works just as well. Let's get started. The first step to any successful recipe is washing your hands. And we all know that, so let's take a moment to wash our hands. And if you have long hair, why don't you take a moment to go put it up? Dogs and cats aren't the only animals that shed everywhere, and it's gross. Nobody wants hair in your food. M&M cookies are basically a sugar cookie with M&Ms mixed in the dough and squished on top before they're baked. If you have a dietary restriction, it's a great recipe because you can substitute any number of ingredients for those the recipe calls for. You can have gluten-free flour, dairy-free butter, and even dye-free M&Ms, although ours are just the regular type. To start, we're going to take the butter and put it in our bowl. And then we're going to add both types of sugar, brown and white, and we're going to mix those together on medium for maybe 2 minutes. This step is called creaming the butter, and you add the butter and sugar together and mix it until it's nice and creamy. Okay, everything is pretty well mixed together. We're going to crack and add the egg. When you're baking, it's a good idea to crack the egg before you add it, and that way if you accidentally get a little bit of shell in there, you don't dump it into your cookies. So I'm going to crack it on the counter, put it in a bowl. And that way, if I do have any shell, I can use half of the egg to get any little piece of shell out. Now you want to add the egg and continue to beat the sugar and butter and the egg together until they're nice and fluffy. So you can see how everything has changed color from dark brown sugar to light fluffy with that egg mixed in. Now that your butter and sugar are mixed together, you're going to put in the vanilla and mix that up too. Then we can take the baking soda and the salt and mix it in with our flour. And now we can go ahead and add all of the dry ingredients a little bit at a time. I'm mixing in about 1/3 of it and waiting until it all incorporates. Then I'm going to scoop some more in. And I'm going to get it all over the counter. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my flour. Woo! It's going to spit all over the counter at me. Okay, now that our dough is all mixed up, we're going to add the M&Ms. M&Ms don't usually stay around in this house unless we keep them covered. For some reason, they always evaporate. Anyway, we're not going to add all of the M&Ms all at once. We're going to split them in half so that we add some to the dough and then conserve some so that we can roll the dough in the M&Ms before we bake. So we're just going to split this in half. I know that there's about 4 ounces of M&Ms here, so I'm going to eyeball 2 ounces to add to my dough. Just mix them a little bit. Maybe a lot bit. sometimes the M&Ms don't always incorporate into the dough. If that's the case, make sure your hands are clean or use a pair of gloves and you can squish them into the dough. What's up, Cato? This cat really wants M&Ms. Okay, now that our dough is ready to go, make sure your hands are washed and we're going to start scooping cookies. Your recipe should make about 8 cookies. You can use a cookie scoop or a large spoon to make a ball about the size of your palm. That's going to give you a nice big cookie. Go ahead and scoop all of your cookie dough out. Remember those M&Ms we set aside? We're going to use them now. So take each one of your dough balls and dip one side in the M&Ms. If they don't have enough M&Ms, you might have to poke a couple on there so that they have a lot of M&Ms on them. Go ahead and dip each one of your cookie dough balls into the M&Ms. And if you have M&Ms left over, well, I'm not going to tell you what to do with those. You can use your own imagination. Once all of your cookie dough balls are dipped in M&Ms, arrange them on your cookie sheet. It should look very colorful. Now we're going to bake our cookies at 350 degrees for 11 to 15 minutes. Always set your timer for the shortest amount of time first. That way you can check them and make sure they're not burnt. Remember, you can always bake something more, but you can't bake it less. While your cookies are baking in the oven, it's a great time to do the dishes. And remember, those who do the dishes get the first choice of cookies. Once the cookies come out of the oven, leave them on your cookie sheet for 2 to 3 minutes so they can cool down. That way you can transfer them to the cooling rack without breaking them. Once these cookies cool down, you can enjoy them. But remember, dogs don't like these cookies because they have chocolate in them. However, parents and siblings do, so you should definitely share. Have fun making your cookies!